Hello everybody, this is Purge, bringing you guys a replay coaching here. This one is for Josh. General comments. You'd like to get a general sense of what you're doing well in games, what is lacking in your play. You took a large break from PC games, so you're a little bit rusty. And you want general gameplay and awareness advice, like item builds, efficiency tips, and other nuggets of wisdom. And you think you're somewhere between 800 and 2000 MMR. So let's go take a look at that. Alright, playing Legion this game. Probably worth bringing more regen into your lane, I would assume, because you have an extra 100 gold here. You might as well spend it. I mean, I guess you can get a faster quelling blade this way, but generally in laning, you want to have a little bit more regen because it takes time for the courier to bring it out. I wouldn't necessarily skill right away. Overwhelming odds is also generally seen as the inferior skill right now in Legion. A lot of Legions will be getting lots of levels to press the attack or maxing it out early because it gives them a lot of lane sustain with all the heal and attack speed when trading. So people do get overwhelming odds for sure because the movement speed bonus, that part can be really good, but like winning your lane with nukes from overwhelming odds is generally seen as a weak way to go with Legion Commander right now, more or less. Blocking is good. Good blocking, solid. You should go get your quelling blade now. Perfect. Alright, let's see how this goes. You're also fighting for last hits with your Ricky, it seems like. Although he doesn't have as much regen as you, so it should be fine. Generally, nukes like that, you have to be a little bit careful because you want to make sure you don't get your range creep below 50% health. And while you've done some damage, I think I would just prefer that you have something like Moment of Courage, honestly. That way when you do right-click the PA, then you're getting extra hits in, and it also gives you a bit of heal. Because when you right-click the PA, you're going to aggro the creeps, and it's going to proc your Moment of Courage at least once. This is, well, a huge mistake here to use this nuke. It does a little bit of damage to the PA, but you kind of want your creep wave to push a little bit. Would generally be better. You're kind of running, you ran way too far to use your tango there. Rather than running all the way up here to grab the tango, you could have eaten one of these ones to stay a little bit closer. Don't worry about buying these items right now. You're wasting your time, basically. That nuke was, again, kind of okay, but you guys are kind of doing weird stuff. Let's go back and watch these again. So, first of all, you don't need to buy your magic wand really fast. It's not, like, it's good against Phantom Assassin, but if you want to buy a magic stick, just go buy it right here. Go pick it up quick, and then you're fine. You don't need to finish your magic wand right away. This is a big mistake made by a lot of players right now, is that it's nice to have it completed because your charges go up to 20, and it saves you some item slots, and you get extra stats and all. If I'm not mistaken, yeah, you get 3 attributes instead of 2. That's all great, but the problem is that this is not an item that like wins your lane, basically. Having an extra stat and more item slots doesn't win your lane. You want to fill up your inventory right now with items that are really cheap and efficient. So things like fast chainmail is really valuable right now because it means that all the damage you're taking in the laning stage gets reduced. Getting fast phase boots is great. A Basie can be really good too, potentially. But buying a magic stick like this is absolutely not worth it. Now you're running forward to help this guy, which I think is kind of okay, but you also right-click the enemy heroes, and as a result the creeps are hitting you now. And you just now hit level 2. You got your passive now, but imagine like how much more health you would have. I also don't know why you're running all the way back here. This is probably because you're busy trying to do courier stuff, and you feel the need to do it safely. But this is like a thing that is going to reduce your efficiency and make sure that you don't get nearly as much gold as a result of being distracted, basically. But if you're quicker with shop stuff, then you won't have this problem as much. And now you've effectively given up this lane against a PA. PA is a pretty garbage laning hero. He's only got 5. She's got 5 armor, but her base damage is low, and her skills really don't do that much. You should be able to beat her. You have 68 damage. It's a massive damage advantage. So don't be afraid to come up and hit her a couple times. I mean, part of this is, of course, that your HP is low, so it feels scary, right? Regen's missing, so you need to use the tango immediately and get back into the lane. The longer that you're at low HP, the more scared you're going to play, and you're not going to get as much gold as a result. You also don't need to run away like this after getting scared, kind of. You're always backing away from a creep after you get a last hit, and it's causing you to miss some more. Like, you're basically having to run a lot more. You should have gotten this range creep here. Camera positioning now is kind of weak. Okay, it's fine now. I wish this guy wasn't trying to take your last hits. It's unfortunate. Now you're buying Basie. This is just so slow. Like, all of these items are very good laning items, but you're buying them in a weird order where, like, the Basie is going to give you more mana and all, but it also gives you, what, 8 damage? You don't really need more damage. You've got 68 right now. It's more important for you to have boots, for example, to abuse your movement speed advantage. That would be a better use of your time. Also, moving over here to try to kill the Mirana. You're not going to be able to do anything to kill her. All you have is a weak nuke. that isn't going to do much unless she's standing by other heroes or by creep waves. So it's not worth it for you to run over there. What's more important is that you sit in the creep wave and you get all the last hits and denies. That's by far the most important thing you could do. So all this gold you have, 500, 650, 850 gold. Your first 850 gold just sitting in the stash because you bought items. Not only that you didn't buy your magic stick right here, but also that they're items that you have to wait for them to come out. That's why buying like boots, stick, chainmail is really good. You can get all these items in the side shop and they're just instantly usable for you. Again, you put another point in overwhelming odds, which I guess if you're planning to cast overwhelming odds a lot, it's difficult to also forward press the attack. But I would prefer that you're skilling a little different. Well, I don't know why you're running back again, doing the same thing. Every time you shop, you basically run like a football field away from battle because you're scared. But it's really gimping you because you're missing a last hit consistently every time that you look at the shop like this. And every time that you get a last hit, you keep moving back like 300 units. You don't necessarily have to do that. Same thing. Look how far you're running away every time. Alright, you got your items now, which means your laning stage is a little bit easier, but realistically, these don't really increase your survivability that much. Again, you're getting a little bit too kind of scared. Somebody should go for bounties. I'm glad you brought more regen, though. That was good. That's the right thing to do. You should be hitting this guy more, too. Like moments like this, where Moment of Courage is ready, you should be right-clicking him in the creep wave, because then you're going to be getting extra damage in. You're kind of just letting him get last hits. See, he's got equal last hits than you. You haven't really pressured him at all in this lane. You've got pretty good armor now because you've got chainmail in the base. I'm glad you bought the chainmail at least. I think it's fine over the boots here. It's a little bit bad because you're already kind of delayed from where your movement speed. Like you should really be contesting every single one of these last hits. I almost would have rathered you just getting a Moment of Courage. Like right here, you should right click him again. Like essentially all you've done so far in terms of harassment is using a nuke. You've almost never right clicked your opponents, but you need to do that more because right clicks are a very, very inexpensive way to harass your opponents and get something done. If you right click them, it's free damage effectively, and because of Moment of Courage, it really is free damage because you're getting lifesteal back from it. So it helps you win those trades. But all you've kind of done is just go even with him. You haven't exerted pressure. How much regen does he have? He's got to bring a health. He's got almost no stats, and he's got regen, but you can definitely pressure him. Again, the only way you know how to harass is using your nuke so far. It's a really ineffective way to play Dota. You're never going to get that many kills in your lane if you don't pressure with right clicks and with spells. You have to do both. I tried to right click there, didn't work out. I assume that you're going to be maxing out overwhelming odds first, which is, I would say, probably a negative considering the PA here. I would just prefer that you have more right click abilities generally against another guy that's good at right clicking. Wraith King's the same. Against Pudge, I'd probably prefer to have a lot of right click stuff. Like nuke stuff is like overwhelming odds is not a bad nuke, but it's like very overshadowed right now just because of how big laning is. And the other skills just work a lot better for what they accomplish in laning. Like right here, don't be afraid to right click him too much. There's two heroes, you know, but you've got tons of items and armor. You're pretty effective right now. Another mistake here with you can't let these range creeps get denied. This is super important. They're a massive amount of experience in the lane. Still last hitting kind of okay against the PA. You guys are still going even. Ricky's done a really abysmal job in this lane, if that wasn't clear. He's done a very, very poor job. He's done almost nothing. But it doesn't mean that you can't harass more, you know. This is a moment where having like more of your other skills would be pretty effective. That was weird. What happened there? You haven't had your boots available. Okay, cool. You got them now, I guess. Alright, so now your items look pretty darn solid. You're pretty strong, but now the problem is that you're almost all about your nuke and nothing else. You still don't need to be scared here. The only way you die basically is if you get arrowed, more or less. So as long as you're being careful to not get arrowed, you're going to be completely fine here. You don't need to be running around like with the side creep. This is Ricky's shop. You should be standing in the creep wave. Once again, you're just giving him so much experience advantage and gold by letting him deny creep waves like that. You can't use your nuke like this. Again, I think it's just because you feel constrained, that you feel like you have to use your nuke to be able to do damage in the lane. Like your nuke should be multi-purpose. You should be using it to secure last hits that you wouldn't get otherwise. You should use it to harass opponents, counter push waves, that kind of a thing. But you can't just cast it whenever it's available to do damage, which is slightly what you're doing. Like, you could have nuked for that range creep there, for example. Would have been kind of good. I don't know why you pressed the attack there. I'm guessing because you wanted to duel. I think you mentioned that too. No, that you were mentioning something else actually. Interesting rotation. This duel was not good, just because Pudge was full HP. Let's watch it again. I mean, I guess you did interrupt it now. His ulti was actually already gone. So you want to use duel when people are a lot lower at early levels, because you're not going to be able to kill somebody that does a full duel. If we look at what Pudge has, he's actually pretty damn tanky. I mean, you can tell that because his HP is full and he's level 9, right? But dueling him here is a mistake. You could duel the PA, that would have been better. PA's at lower health, that kind of a thing. And it does make sure that Pudge doesn't get to do as much stuff here. You could wand and press the attack the Zeus. Would have helped him stay alive. Like, you could have done a lot better in that fight. So, duel was bad. Should have waited until somebody's at like half HP. And at this point, you needed to wand, press the attack the Zeus to remove the stun and help keep him alive, because he's going to be your big damage hero. He's level 10 here, which is insanely leveled. And, yeah, if you keep him alive, he's going to be able to do a lot more in this fight. You're also running way too fast. Like, you're at full health, and you're ditching the fight because somebody got aired. What's the point? You can still fight people. You don't have to duel to get kills. You nuke here, which is fine. The Mirana gets very low. Like, you can actually just fight this guy to the death. I think you're playing way too careful here. And as a result, they eventually chase you down because you're not fighting. If you don't fight, you're never going to kill them first. So you tried to run, but that doesn't work either. So it's just like a game sense moment, basically, where you have to realize that you were going to be able to kill them. Now you are TPing to the shrine. I don't know why. You should be TPing the bot lane instead. You're jungling now. This is not a good use of your time. Lane creeps are far more gold, and by leaving the lane, you're basically giving up the jungle to the PA instead. You stack the medium camp, but really doesn't matter because you killed the creep. So, like, jungling is just not a good use of your time and gold. I guess in this way it's better because Ricky gets the lane, and that's kind of good because the guy doesn't have anything otherwise. But in that sense, it's good what you did, but I am not the biggest fan. I would also be thinking about ganking the Pudge right now. Ever since you got the haste, you should be looking around for gank opportunities. You hadn't spotted somebody, now you do, but this was a good duel. I still think you could have gone mid easily, but this is fine also. Alright, so now you need to start working on an item. We'll see what you build. Not sure what it'll be. I don't know if you're thinking about getting... Okay, you're going to go Blade Mail first. I think that's okay. Blade Mail is not the best to rush, I think, unless they have like damage abilities that once they cast them, it's committed. Like Mirana, Mirana's first skill is Starstorm is a good example. A Gyrocopter who uses Rocket Barrage, Blade Mail is really good against them. But I think generally that this is not a good Blade Mail game. It's not very good against like Pudge, really, I guess. I mean, you can Blade Mail Reflect Rot, but I'm just not sold on this, I guess. Still jungling, which again is kind of good for the Zeus, or for the Ricky, but now you're rotating over, trying to get a dual kill. It's the Wraith King. It's not that bad to fight, and to be honest, I don't think you need to be that scared. But rotating over like this and not getting a kill is a big waste of resources. Somebody could have been mid. Like, I would honestly rather you jungle at this point than rotating over here for nothing to happen. And part of it is that you're kind of scared to initiate, I think. Like, if we go back and watch how this went, you get global silenced. You're also not moving your camera enough. I can't see how much health this Pudge has. I see him on the map, but I don't know how much health he has because you're not looking. If you look, you should say, oh shit, he's at half HP. Why don't we just dive this guy? If you go dive, they're going to sit behind you and help you dive. Or maybe you look at Wraith King and say, hey, Wraith King has literally no items. But as far as I can tell, you're not checking those things, and you're kind of just playing scared. Like, you guys have 4 heroes in this lane, and you're running away because they use global silence. What's the point? You could duel somebody and your team is going to follow up because they're all here. But instead you guys all run away because you don't really know if it's safe or not. And as a result, you waste your time running all the way here. And finally you see the Pudge down here, so now it makes sense to go. But this should have been happening earlier. Also, look at how bad your positioning is here. You know that you want to go on the Pudge, but look how far away you are. You're letting the line go in first. You should be standing here or sneaking in and hiding like right here behind the tree. Because that way, when it's time to go in, you can go in. But instead what's happening is, by the time this guy starts disabling, he's going to have to use 2 disables before you even get in duel range. Which is a mistake. Like, you could have been dueling him this whole time, and if you're doing that, then line is just right-clicking easily. It makes the gank really easy. But your positioning as you approach was really disappointing. So there's a chainmail. I would swap it in for stout shield typically here in this example. Now you can finish your blade mail, which is fine. A little bit overkill. It's really nice against Wraith King and PA, I guess, when you duel them. If these guys had bought any damage items, which they haven't because they're bad. See where you're heading now. It looks like you're heading back to the jungle. This is not a good way to spend your time. What you should be doing at this point of the game is you guys should be pushing this wave out and helping to take the tower. Once you take the tower, that opens up access to their jungle. That's going to make it easier to fight. But if you're jungling, you're not going to get duels. All you're going to do is slowly kill creeps, and they can generally do that faster than you. Typically. Like, if you basically slow down and you let them get a Battle Fear and PA and this guy gets a Midas, they're just going to out-farm you, more or less. But, like, jungling like this means that if a fight happens, you have to TP or you have to run all the way there. And in fact, it'd be better if you're going to jungle over here instead. Or to jungle over here even. Like, yeah, maybe they're going to find you sometimes, but then they're going to have to chase you down and try to kill you. And that doesn't mean that they're going to be successful, you know? And now you're running to the mid lane. But really, if you're going to make a movement, you should be ganking. You should be, like, approaching this way. If you swing around from this side, obviously there's a lot of heroes here, but there shouldn't be. If there are heroes, then maybe you can wait here, farm this camp, wait till somebody comes up, and then kill them here. But if you just show yourself on the creep wave like this, they're going to be scared and know that you're there. And now you seem like you don't know where to go. PL's already in the creep wave. You don't need to be here, basically. You could be here to save him with press the attack. That part is pretty good. You could have dueled him, but it's okay that you didn't. I didn't expect him to die so fast. Does this guy have a defuse already? He does. He's actually stupidly farmed. Cool, you got your dual kill. Now you got another kill. This is great. It all kind of working out. You should press the attack. Okay, perfect. You did it. Now your team is pushing forward because things are going very well. This is great. Up in towers, blade mill's a waster, obviously. They should have been able to defend that, but the game is weird, of course, so it does not happen. Alright, where you go next is important. Top lane is fine. Somebody does need to push this out because it's going to open up killing the tower. But if not for that, I would definitely farm either here or in this area because you basically want to farm on their side of the map to make sure that they can't farm their side of the map. This is good that you're clearing this. You're going Shadow Blade over Blink, which is fine, I think. Especially because, like, Silver Edge can be really good this game against, like, Pudge and PA and stuff. I don't know what you're doing over here. I have no idea why you're running this way right now. No clue. What basically needs to happen is when there's a creep wave like this, you got to push this shit as fast as possible. I wouldn't necessarily use overwhelming odds because you're low on mana. You should be bringing out Clarity Potions, by the way, to get your mana full. But whatever you're doing, oh, you're coming to Shrine. So you're basically interrupting all of this gold and all this farm just so you can get a little mana. It'd be so much more efficient if you just brought a Clarity Potion instead. It kind of is okay because the PL was there too and he could push the wave instead. But moments like this are so inefficient and they really hurt your game because you're decreasing your farm speed and your GPM. You should have a lot more, your net worth would be higher effectively if you weren't doing things like this. And you should be basically pushing with PL through the top lane. PL can push the creep wave. You can shadow him, basically run parallel to look for enemy heroes. And you can go farm this area. And that way, if anybody comes, you can help your PL either by saving him or killing whoever shows up. Instead, what you did was you ran all the way to the mid lane for no reason. You got a DD rune, which is fine. But now where are you running? You got your item. Here's PL dying, apparently. See, if you were here, you could have maybe saved him, for example. But instead, you ran all the way over here. Then you got a DD. Then you went back on Shadow. And now you're running across the map again. So inefficient. All of this running that you did. You could have just played in this area and tried to back him up or helped get a kill. And as a result, now because PL died up here, now this lane's going to push out. They're going to feel comfortable to farm their jungle. This guy's going to go over here and feel comfortable dewarding because they just got a kill on their side of the map. And now you're going to lose vision here. And what's going to happen is now you're not going to feel as comfortable playing on the side of the map. This is a huge snowball effect, all because you wasted your time and ran around through the mid lane doing all this stuff. You got to push lanes. You got to move into that area and help get kills or counter ganks, and then control map vision on the enemy side of the map. And that's the easy way to basically make kills happen. Pushing down here is really good considering the fact that the tier 1 tower is still up, which is unacceptable. I would honestly just walk up and start hitting it. It's slow enough, it's a tier 1, it doesn't have backdoor protection. You can just kill the damn thing, perfect. And now you guys should go continue pushing. Grab bounties first is fine, but you don't need 3 people to grab bounties, guys. Just 1 could go grab both. The rest of it should be like literally Ricky plus 2 heroes playing in this area while 1 goes back to get bounties, and then you guys head back down here. Now you guys are going back into neutral positions because you don't really know what to do, but what should be happening is you should be taking observer wards, and you should be moving into the enemy jungle, and you should be controlling the jungle area. Clearing this tier 1 tower, it opens up the jungle area. This is where wards should be, somewhere deep in here. But if you look at the map from your vision, you guys don't have good vision on their side of the map, but it should not be like this. You guys should be basically dominating their side of the map because you have a gold advantage, is how it should go. Now you're back to jungle briefly. You killed 1 camp, and now you're running all the way to the mid lane for some reason. Don't know why. Probably because you expect something to happen because the enemy team is pushing. Let's go back to your guys' vision. Couple enemies showing. Now you're going to go hit neutrals because you don't know what to do. In reality, the creep wave is about to meet. You could have pushed it out. You've got your Shadow Blade coming now. And this is basically one of the problems that happens at lower MMRs, is that the average low MMR player feels like they don't know how to make kills happen if they don't have something like a Shadow Blade. Because they don't really feel like they can get to the enemy side of the map. But it's literally just pushing the creep wave out and then running through the jungle to look for heroes. Is basically how it works. Shadow Blades help, obviously, because they'll help you gap close and get the duel off, for example. But the main issue is that you guys aren't pushing creep waves and you're not controlling area. So like if you push this creep wave all the way up to the tower, you can go jungle, and if your creep wave dies on the tower and their wave starts pushing out, you leave the jungle and you go push it out again. So you're basically keeping the wave like here. And if you do that, it kind of like makes a concave on the map where everything else is yours to farm. But because you guys are kind of just losing focus and going back to jungle on your side of the map, you're not really accomplishing very much. You're shadow blading across the map, which is great. You probably should have dueled her for the damage. That's 18 or whatever. Never mind, you can just duel this guy. Probably. Or can you? Blade Mail really good here. Probably should have dueled him for the damage again. I maybe would max out Moment of Courage a little bit faster, but I'm not sure. You should be Shadow Blading right here and moving into this area. Perfect. Fortunately, you didn't have Blade Mail. You didn't quite have press the attack either, so I made that a little hard. You should be somebody should be pushing top, somebody should be pushing bottom. You didn't need to TP to the tower here to do this. You could have just walked. Like, look at the distance. It's about equidistant if you just walk. And now you have one less teleport. It's good that you're pushing the wave though. I would push one more as well. I have a feeling you're going to back though because it's one wave and you're scared. You got TPs first, and yeah, there it is. Next creep wave comes, and now you're going to jungle because you're scared. The one push and leave is a very common thing for lower players as well. But you need to push 2 waves usually if you want the wave to push fully. Because now you've killed 1 wave, but this one's just going to equalize your other one. Like your push is going to be slightly better, but like you didn't really make the map control that much better. And it's a little bit dangerous to push twice, but you got to do it sometimes. You got Shadow Blade for God's sake. Like you should be able to get away with it. You should instantly be going into this kill, even if he's got reincarnation. I don't care. Take the damage. But instead you're finishing the jungle for no reason. And now, because he's finished his creep wave, he's going to leave. So you should look at the creep wave as a timer. It's like when these creeps are dead, he's gone. Because there's no reason for him to be here anymore. So you continuing to kill these neutrals made this gank so much harder. Because imagine if the duel happened right now with your allies over here. They would get here in time. But now by the time you're catching up, he's so much closer to the base. All because you wanted some more neutrals. That's not worth it. And now the creep wave's not pushed out because he pushed it. And now you guys are trying to play in the enemy side of the map, but not really feeling comfortable because you don't have the best wards, and now you're back to neutral again. So the game's going to kind of go into a cycle here like this, where it's kind of ends up being a little bit boring, kind of back and forth. PL should be pushing out this creep wave. You're jungling again because you don't know what to do in the moment, but again, you should be sitting parallel, farming this area over here. Now you're TPing to the bot lane. Don't know why. Probably DD related, but it's not like you need that to get a kill. You've got your Shadow Blade, now you're moving forward. This is great and all. I would love it if you duel him. In this case, maybe you should have slapped him. I thought he would have his ulti, but maybe he got mana drained by Ricky. Yeah, it looks like he did. Okay. Worked out, you got a kill. Cool. So now your wave's pushing in, you should be going left right now. You can farm this, that's okay. I won't criticize you for that, but you definitely need to move left right now and move into their jungle here. Oh, there's actually bounty runes. So now you'll get those instead, which is fine. And now here's your mistake. As soon as you got the bounty rune, moving here is the wrong choice. Again, you have to move to the enemy side of the map to farm. You don't need these ancients. What you want to do is keep getting dual kills and putting pressure on the enemy team. Like you could be here for this duel, for example. But instead you have to run across the whole map because you were farming on your side of the map. Good Blade Mail duel there, that was great. And now where are you running? Small camp, probably. I have a feeling you're going to farm back to your side of the map again, which is again a mistake. You should be farming over here, playing around mid, bouncing between bottom and mid. Okay, you more or less did the right thing by coming to this position. I would press the attack the Ricky here, because he got all these spells on him. Perfect. You could just cast it right away. It would have dispelled him. He would have taken less damage. I guess it did give you more curse damage, but you didn't need to run all the way back here to use Shadow Blade. If I was going to Shadow Blade, I would just do it like here. Just pop it here and then run forward. But running all the way around, you just wasted like 3 seconds of your Shadow Blade. Cool, you guys won the fight there. Again, doing the small camp and the large camp, I'm guessing, is what's going to happen. Your team is pushing top. You should be power hitting the tower right now because they have a bunch of dead heroes. It should not just be line hitting the tower. Like, this tower should be dead. You guys want a team fight? This is a moment where all their heroes are dead. Like, your allies are literally Raxing and you're jungling. So you're taking all this advantage to what? Get neutral creeps? That's not worth it. Should have been the tier 2, or you should have ran to the top lane to help your allies push. Would have also been really good. And you just need to be killing this shit as fast as possible. Like, just blow this tower up. Just like this. Please hit the tower. Oh god. You can also de-aggro the creep wave by left clicking your creeps. I don't know why you're scared here. You guys are so far ahead, and this is like a moment where you have enough advantage where you don't have to play scared like this. Like, the creep wave is dying literally to creeps, and it's not even dead is the crazy part. You got the shrine, which is great, but why not kill the tower? You do tons of damage. You have plus 84 damage. You got a blade or a BKB now, which is great, and now you're doing your default, which is running all the way back to your side of the map. Again, not a good way to spend your time. All that does is give them space to get back on the map, and you're going to get less duels as a result because you're not going to find any kills. Once again, jungling. This would be a good time to Shadow Blade duel somebody. I would just duel the Silencer. I would have dueled him right there. And he would have died, and then you could press BKB afterwards. Should have BKB before that stun hit. You don't need to be scared, you should be fighting. You have a BKB. You're very strong. I would keep your Zeus alive, he's very important. I would press the attack him, to be honest. If you would have done that earlier, you would have been better off. Obviously. You Shadow Bladed just a little bit late. That was pretty good. So part of the issue is that you kind of just were fighting. You were too scared to fight this whole time. It's like you didn't understand the strength of your hero, basically, so you kind of made the wrong decision. The reason you want to duel Silencer is because at this point you know that he's pretty weak. I don't even have to like check his items to know. Let's check his items. He's got 1600 health, he's got okay armor but not incredible. If you just duel this guy, he dies. And then they don't have global silence, for example. That's why I want you to duel him. Dueling Pudge, not that important, and it's hard to get the duel because he's so high HP. Obviously he's got low armor and stuff, but this just got made a little bit harder, more or less. Alright. And now Zeus ulti comes out. A couple spells. You also went crazy on your camera because you got scared. But really what you should have just done was pop BKB and just start fighting. Again, you've got tons of damage. These guys want to fight you, that's fine. Just hit this Wraith King and break his ulti. If you just fought him there and broke his ulti at the start of the fight, things would have gone a lot better for you. And as soon as this Zeus gets started getting gone on by PA, you should just be healing the PA. Or healing the Zeus right away. You eventually healed him, but it was just so late that you could have had all the 300 HP kicking by now. And this whole time, you could have been right-clicking PA. You're spending so much time running around, kind of, trying to figure out where the right moment is. And it's kind of like the same example of you're just not really respecting your hero's right-click, and you're thinking too much about, like, skills, essentially. Like, yes, duel is a great right-click ability, and yes, press the attack as well help a lot, but, like, you can just right-click people normally. It's not a big deal to do so. The only downside, obviously, is that PA is going to have evasion, so successfully landing those right clicks is going to be hard. But doesn't mean you can't do it. Either her or somebody else. This is good that you're farming here. This is where you need to be, basically. And now that you see this guy coming forward, you're going to wait for Shadow Blade. This is perfect. I would be Shadow Blading and moving in this area right now. Yeah, you should be looking for a duel, 100%. Fortunately, he's got the sentry there, so he definitely spotted you just now. Surprised it took him so long to go kill that ward. Maybe he was scared or something. Now you're definitely farming in the right place now. This is great. Line just got one shot. You forgot to blade mail here, but I think that was the one you mentioned that you had forgotten and you realized. So unfortunate. Yeah, if you blade mail there, 100% she dies. It was a good duel otherwise. But I think you mentioned you forgot to use them. Yeah, that was the one you mentioned in the replay. There are a lot of buttons to press sometimes when playing Legion, that's for sure. Now you're on AC. I don't think AC is necessarily the right choice, actually. They do have a lot of right click, I guess. AC is not bad. I'd probably prefer you get an MKB, to be honest, just so you get the true strike. I don't know if we need to watch this replay anymore, actually. I think this was probably good enough for general things that you needed to do to change. But you guys have overwhelming map control, basically. You should play on their side of the map, have wards around their jungle. You need more sentries probably to make sure they can't kill you with or spot you getting ready to duel. You just need to be more successful with your duel decision making, and the game is very easy. So that's probably good for this one. Let's play the other one. The other match, 5074. Okay, let's play the other one. This is the Faceless Void game. Said you had a very good game this time. Other game was good too, but we'll see. Looks like you're buying same starting items as before. You should not skill yet. Void sometimes does want to get time lock level 1 just because that helps him trade hits with opponents. If you get a proc on time lock, it's a huge advantage. Looks like you got 3 of these. You got the fast quelling. Again, that's the benefit of your starting item build, is that you get a fast quelling blade. Moving just a little bit too far away from the creep wave here. Like, you basically don't need to stand away from the creep wave, more or less. Oh, is this guy level 2 already? What the heck? Like, every time you last hit, you're running away. You just don't need to be this scared, more or less. You should be going for this range creep right now. Took way too long to move in for that one. Having a lot of trouble getting these last hits, but pauses definitely don't help. Looks like you're queuing up a Wraithband, which is good. There's a dead guy. Yo, these pauses are very frustrating, I must say. Okay. Generally, people are maxing out time lock first over time walk, and I would say that's definitely worth it for your lane because it's a double melee. You shouldn't be too worried about them harassing you a lot with spells that you need to heal with time walk, so you should be getting more time lock. Maybe you can get a time dilation. It's pretty good against some lanes, especially against Wraith King, because if he uses both of his spells, putting them on cooldown can be pretty helpful. So sometimes time lock can be, or time dilation, sorry, can be really good. 28% slow against 2. It's not bad. But the reason you basically need more time lock is just to give you a better chance to bash. That way, like all these times that he's standing by the creep wave like this, you can just bully the shit out of him. Like you're playing, again, much like last game, way too careful. You're way too careful. Your time walk there to save like 70 damage also kind of fucked you, because then he happens to land a hook, and now they know that you're fucked. So generally it's, I mean, you've got 6 tangos, you know, you might as well just be popping tangos rather than being so worried about time locking damage. But a lot of what like makes Void abusable in the lane is certainly about, same thing again, you get a last hit, you run away too much, and it loses you last hits. You're also doing the same item build again. You don't need a magic wand against these guys. It is not important against a Purge. It's not very good at all against Wraith King, and it's going to make it so your trading at this stage of the game is going to be worse, because you could have 2 Wraith Bands instead of just 1. The magic wand is 450. A Wraith Band is 515. Very similar in price. It's much better for you to have 2 Wraith Bands because it increases your attack speed even more. Wraith Band's like, what, 11 attack speed or something? Having 2 of them is equivalent to a Gloves of Haste. And it helps you when you just start hitting them. You're going to have higher attack speed, better chance to hit them. And instead you're maxing your magic wand right away. So I'd say it's pretty safe to say that every laning stage you're consistently gimping yourself with your first couple item purchases. So it's really simple to identify. The magic wand rush, like I get it, you want the fast quelling. I don't care about that much, but you got to stop buying this like super fast full magic wand. It is absolutely not worth it for you to do this. You don't necessarily need to use time walk that early either. The Wraith King stun doesn't last for 2 seconds anymore. That means even if he does throw the nuke on you, you can always time walk afterwards, at least until much later. So you're basically being too afraid to right click and trade, is what you're not doing very well. And even Pudge right here, just start hitting this guy. Does he have a stout shield? He does. But he has no armor. That means if you get a proc on the guy, you're going to do a ton of damage. Now you're buying power treads, which is fine, but I would still probably like to see a second Wraith Band. Yo, this is actually awful. Okay, he's finally back. You should hit the Pudge there. He's in the creep wave. With nobody else there. Hit the guy. What's he going to do? Trade with you? You can't trade better than you. You have 5 armor, he has 0. If you get a time lock bash, you do a ton of damage. But you never do those trades. And every time you get a little scared, you always time walk away. And now you can't time walk aggressively or with help from allies, which isn't really good either. Like, this is like the second time I've seen you right click an enemy hero, more or less. You're kind of constantly afraid of it, which is not a good reaction. Like, you're farming fine, but you're just not willing to put your hero on the line ever. Maybe because you don't understand the relative strengths of heroes or something, but definitely playing too scared. Still, your movement's a little bit weird. Time lock level 3 now, which is good. Yeah, like definitely just go 1-2-2 next time. If you're going to go 3 points in time lock, don't be afraid to hit this guy. It's totally fine. Pop a tango, hit him a little bit, time walk afterwards. Instead of using time walk to what? Get a last hit without getting harassed. Again, you're hitting and you're running away from the creep wave every time. You do not need to do that. Stand still sometimes. Hey, time walk. And that is where you time walk. It's perfect. Like, this lane is really not scary. You should be right clicking this whole time. You keep doing the same thing. It's like when you BKB'd on Legion. You get scared and you just run for the hills, but you're never identifying, is it okay for me to actually trade hits? Like, your homework is basically to go into games and just fight people more and see who wins first. And understand like when it is okay for you to fight people and trade hits with them, especially on Void, because you can offset damage. Like, you're basically going to go into a game now and you're going to play Void after watching this, and you're just going to hit people a lot and get really good trades, and then you're going to time walk the damage, and all of a sudden they're just going to lose their lane because you're going to kill them more. But this is why you're not getting any kills in lane, because you're never putting people at threat of dying because you're scared to. So outside of like getting a Chronosphere kill, I just don't see you getting a kill. And if you look at the last hits, it's the same like last game. You're never winning your lane. You're always just going even, is what you're doing. Chronosphere was unnecessary, I think, that early at least. But at least he was level 5, so it works. Alright, now you got power treads. On to agility, which is great. You should be hitting this guy big time. Oh yeah, I would have time walked for him too. That was perfect circumstance, because he can't win trades against you too. Going Mask of Menace, that's an old school build. Not really good anymore. Maelstrom is almost always the correct build. There is some value in it because a lot of attack speed is great and all. But Maelstrom is just better typically because it allows you to push out lanes faster, jungle faster, that kind of a thing. It's a lot more useful than a Mask of Menace for farming speed. And a lot of times too, especially with like the time walk cooldown, Mask of Menace is even worse if you end up going that path, because then you're silenced for that longer duration. So almost always Maelstrom Rush is the way to go. Perfect time to time walk. Oh, he has his ultimate. Okay. Well, that was scary. Definitely a bad time to time walk. He's gonna proc his ultimate. It's a really bad move here by you. You can't, you shouldn't have jumped forward to time walk. That was where you kind of ruined your lane, or ruined this for you. Like, it's okay to walk at this guy and start him, but look, you're almost in range of him anyways. You basically time walk to what? Get away from the Pudge, but he doesn't have ulti. I don't know if you know that or not. It's almost off cooldown. But you kind of like just committed yourself to dying here. What you should have done probably is just started running this way. You popped one because you know you had fucked up, but yeah, you can't time walk aggressively. You should basically just be, like, the way you play the hero is you just bully, you hit people a lot, and then you time walk when shit hits the fan. Or after making a trade. That's it, basically. And to be honest, I would probably, I mean, I guess time walk at low cooldown is really nice, but More time lock is very good for helping the trades. It's a good attempt, but not going to work. Jungling at this point kind of does make some sense because being able to kill your opponents is a little bit difficult. Yep, this is perfect. You should be hitting him occasionally. It's kind of a weird time walk. I believe you can't make it from side shop anymore, right? Should be hitting him here. You shouldn't be scared of him at all. I don't think he has his ultimate either. Oh, he does actually. He came off cooldown. Good stack. That's great ulti. Ooh. So, small mistake that you made here. When you Chronosphere him, you should be moving between attacks to be positioned over here. That way when this ends, it's going to be easier to chase him. Because as soon as the Chrono ended, he starts running away from you and all of a sudden he's like 300 units. If he has to run past you, you can body block him. You can basically make it a lot harder for him to escape. Also, if you have maxed out time lock, maybe you get the kill, you know. That might have happened also, you could definitely argue. Mask Man is finished though, which is great and all. Like Maelstrom would, you would farm so much faster than Mask Menace. Obviously it's a lot more expensive, but I think your farming patterns have been pretty good here, like moving between the lane and the large camp. It's all good. Okay, good. You jumped afterwards, trading very well. That was solid. That's basically what you just did there is what you're supposed to do in the laning stage, like all the time. I would hit the tower since you've got a ward. You should be very comfortable knowing that it's not that dangerous to do so. You also always run back with the creep wave rather than, like, you could come from the side, you know. Like, you can just come up and hit this guy like this. It's perfect. Like, pretty much every single time I would just hit him. Yeah, just like this. Sometimes you're gonna get these bashes, you know. This is good. Yeah, your pattern is a lot better in this game. Seems like you have more understanding of what to do as a carry. The only downside is you basically never consider pressuring the tower, which is a big mistake. Like, hit the tower. There's literally nobody here. They have 3 dead heroes and you're doing the same thing. You're going to jungle. So much tower damage you could do. You could open the map up basically. Like, when you kill the tier 1, it basically means they're not going to gank the safe lane anymore either. Because they're just not going to feel very safe. And like all this good stuff that your team just did, you guys didn't profit on the map from it, other than what they did. But like this tower's still full HP because you never slapped the damn thing. And now if you look at this Wraith King, he's like just as farmed as you. You basically had like a lane win against him, but he's got probably equal net worth. More or less, he's got equal net worth as you. He's gotten a Midas at a good time, now he's gonna have a Radiance at a really good time too. And yeah, you've got some items and all, but you even rushed like Mask of Menace, but you don't have you haven't used it a single time yet either. Makes things feel a little bit weird. Now you're rotating over to kill the tower eventually. I mean, we're 20 minutes in. It's definitely very late considering how easy this lane has been. And defending mid is more important than you killing this tier 1 tower, by the way. But I have a feeling that you guys are not going to do so. Yeah, this is not worth it at all. This tower's dead earlier. You can defend mid easier because it doesn't feel like you're losing anything there. At least if you play on the enemy side of the map, this will be alright. Should definitely be jumping in and chronosphering over here, is what I would have done. I would have jumped and chronoed. Let's go back and watch it again. I know the Witch Doctor's probably here. If you jump in chronosphere in this area, I don't know if it goes amazing for you guys, but having a Mask of Menace against Sniper is probably a little bit rough too, because he's got so much range that he's going to do a lot of damage to you while you use Mask of Menace. Your chrono is garbage though. Garbage is not the right word, but it was not ideal, because you basically chronoed all these like melee heroes, and then on the back line like Witch Doctor and Sniper get to do whatever they want. I know the lane was kind of scary and all, but... And then you also got scared. You stopped committing, and as a result, Ursa sort of lived. Probably was dead. Probably maybe was alive anyways, but yeah, you should have jumped to the right. If you don't Chronosphere the backline, then the melee heroes are going to be basically accomplishing everything they want. You don't want to Chrono melee heroes because they're already kind of tanky, so they're hard to kill, which is a counter to Chronosphere in a way. And if you go for like the squishy ranged heroes in the backline, they're squishier, and they also deal better with mobility basically. It's just better to kill the backline basically against the sniper and these other tanky dudes. Alright, let's see where you go after the respawn. Oops, that's slow. Plus 15 damage, that's fine. I think a lot of people have been going strength lately actually. From what I remember. You could have been time walking a little bit to get here. By the time you get here, your mana's probably back up. I would probably use Quelling over Stout, honestly. It's good you're stacking camps. Because Quelling's an extra 24 damage. You've got lifesteal, so it's not like the Stout is going to save you from dying. Like, you would just farm a lot faster. Looks like you're TPing bottom to fight because your teammates are here. But I didn't even see you look. This is a mistake. If you're going to TP like this, you got to, like, look. And see, like, oh, this is the state of the fight. This guy's Yules, here's Alina, here's a Pudge. But you're just kind of like saying... I don't know if you're coordinating with allies that know that there's a fight or something, but this is not a good time to TP, and frankly, you probably should have gone to the tier 1 instead. I think it might have been better. Why aren't you going for that? You guys have 5 heroes in the area. You guys are being way too scared here. It's a very easy chrono. Probably unnecessary, I would argue. Zeus Bolt, anybody? Zeus Bolt, there we go. This is so fast, dude. Phase boots. Surprised you didn't Mask of Menace until then. I would have done it maybe a little bit earlier. It's kind of scary, I guess, because your armor's really low, but... Alright, Hyperstone for the Mjolnir, which is totally fine. I think it's okay to AFK jungle a little bit here because your health was low. You're going the wrong way again. You're moving to where your allies are. You should be moving south. You could be moving down here, farm these, and push out the bot lane. But instead you're just going to what, sit behind your allies when you have all of your spells available. Playing too scared again, I think. Nobody pushing out the bot lane. Could be you. Now you're finally going bot lane, but you're teleporting to do it, and you're only doing it when your whole team is there, which is kind of overkill, I guess. But I guess there is a fight. You're asking your team to force it, but now you're waiting. Now this is a like, if you're going to come down here like this, if you want them to fight, just keep running. Don't stop moving like this. Just go look for heroes. Because if you find heroes, maybe you guys can get a kill. But the way you guys are invading is like really weird. It's like always late. It's like, oh, somebody fought, so you're going to TP and try to run there in 20 seconds and hope that they're still there by the time you get there. And it's probably not amazing for you to hit the creep wave so fast after seeing Ogre, because there's a small chance that he stays as well. Now, hey, you're TPing to your team again because there's a fight. You just keep doing this. But what should be happening is you should just be pushing out the bot lane, playing in the jungle. They come back you up, and then you Chronosphere your hero. You're always trying to react to where your team are playing. They should be playing around you because your farming patterns are more important. You should be pushing out lanes and jungle camps. I mean, sometimes it's good for you to TP and go fight if a fight happens somewhere where you aren't. Like right now, hypothetically, you could have TP'd if you had a TP ready. You could have hypothetically TP'd bottom and fight. But this is better, actually, what you're doing. And again, you're getting scared. One creep wave is gone, and you're fucking terrified. You go back to the jungle. I would have gone the next creep wave, probably. Maybe it was fine in this case, I guess, because it was pretty far down. Now you're TPing mid. I think this is a little overkill. Looks like they're all here. Kill Witch Doctor first, maybe. That's fine. If you kill Ursa first, then he can't use his ulti, I guess. So it made a lot more sense to kill him. So that was actually really good. The way you approached that was kind of sloppy. Let me show you what I mean. Because it didn't feel great to me. So I'm going to see what it looked like before that. You saw the Ursa. So you guys are winning. You've got Chronosphere, so you want to get a kill. The way that you approached it was weak, basically. You saw two heroes right here. Again, you're doing the same thing where you're not looking with your camera. You're only looking with the minimap, and that's bad. Let's look what you should have seen. TP's in. Oh, look, a Witch Doctor. He's got a Glimmer Cape. You should go in right now and just chrono right here. That's what you should have done. They're going to move this way because the creep wave is dead and they're moving towards the tower. They've already choreographed they're moving this way. Instead, what happens is you're poking around, you reveal yourself to them, and now you're just gambling. You had no idea where Witch Doctor was. You had no idea. But if you had time walked right away, as soon as you saw them moving this direction, easy chronosphere, and the fight is over. But this got weird because of the fact that you just gambled. What if the Witch Doctor's standing over here? He throws a cask, uses Maledict on you, puts the ward out here, you just die. You actually just die. But because you got lucky and caught him, then everything's fine. But the way that you did that was actually really weak. It was dangerous, I should say. Alright, now you push on mid, which is great because they are all dead. Pushing mid, pushing mid. Now you're buying a BKB, which is fine. I like that you committed to this tower. This was nice. Now you're running. I would have actually ran to your team probably instead. Same problem. You're never looking at your team. You're just looking at the minimap. Look with your camera. Go see how many heroes there are. Are they low? Like, what heroes are there? I can't tell because all you're focusing on is what you're doing. It's like your camera locked practically. I do like that. Despite that though, that you're pushing top, this is a good place to be. Push the lanes out. I would push the next wave too. Cool, you got BKB now. So now you're really survivable. I don't know if BKB was the right choice. You should have bought a TP scroll here. You will realize that mistake shortly, I assume. So again, you do the jungle. Alright, there's your TPs. And now you're teleporting. But again, you're doing the same thing. Oh, there's some shit going on. I should probably be there. Let's TP. Boom, you TP. Never look. Kind of unnecessary chronosphere, by all means. This is your side of the map. Your whole team is here. You don't need a chrono for this. You could have probably time dilated, to be honest, because his ulti was going to be on cooldown. Just time dilate and run him down with Mask of Menace. The reason BKB is not that useful, it stops shrapnel and ulti damage, and it stops like Cask and Maledict, and I guess the stun from Wraith King, but it's not going to stop the ulti from Pudge, so I think BKB might have been a little bit unnecessary. You could maybe justify, yeah, Butterfly is really good, actually. Butterfly's super good this game. You could disassemble your Mask of Menace, go Butterfly Satanic. I think that would be really solid. I would do the medium camp and then the large camp and then kill this wave, but this is fine too. Now you don't have Chronosphere for this fight. You're going to need a BKB here. You ran away, but once... Okay, you finally are looking a little bit. This is like the most you've ever looked at a fight, in my opinion. Well, this is not good. Yeah, that was pretty greedy, actually. It was like super greedy. Bought back for that one, eh? Probably not worth it. You lost like 1,000 gold for that. Yeah, I think the Mask of Menace has really not done very much for you this game, honestly. It's definitely felt like a mistake to me. You barely use the damn thing. Like, you're getting passive regen and all, but... I don't think you needed a Chronosphere there again. Like, you didn't use it at first, which I thought was kind of nice. I mean, he's got a 4. No, he doesn't even have a 4 staff. He's actually so dead. As soon as he gets SD ulted, he's going to be there a long time. Shadow Demon, Aura, or Soul Catcher put them all very low. Yeah, definitely a waste of a Chrono. You're wasting Chrono a little bit too much. If you do a better job about deciding when to bother using it, it's going to make all these fights easier. Because now you could be going high ground still having Chrono. And then it's like super easy, because then you just need vision on one guy, and you can just kill him. This would be a good time to... Oh, that works too. Just jump away. You guys should still push. Perfect. Should de-aggro. Okay, you got it. Cool. Camera should be a little bit lower here. You guys could have gone Barex maybe, but this is really safe. You guys could Rosh. Instead, I feel like you're going to jungle. Finishing your Butterfly. Okay, good. You're disassembling for it. Excellent. Yeah, you guys definitely could have roshed, I think, with all of your teammates. Now you're also, this is a poor choice of direction here. Going here to kill a small camp is fine, but at this point you should look at the map and say, all of this is dead. You have allies here. That means you should move left because they're likely to go this way, and these guys are likely to go this way. So moving right like here is not worth it, unless you guys are smoking or something. Because you can move over here, kill this creep wave, and then come down to Roche, for example. This is a pretty good example of not chronoing. I'm glad you didn't here. You got kind of lucky with the bashes, I suppose, but then everybody started killing you. You BKB'd. I don't think you necessarily needed to, but it's fine. You did, I think. Now you're just killing everybody. This is now a good chrono moment because you could have guaranteed the sniper kill. Because you could chrono jump here and chrono like here, and you might catch this other guy. In fact, let's go, let me look at it again and see the chrono that I would have done. Good jump here, chrono like this. If there's a guy here, then it's a double chrono. You might have caught Pudge. Probably not. But this guy would be dead then for sure. And instead it becomes a little bit more dangerous. Because you have to worry about the sniper living. Sniper should always be your first target over over this Wraith King. Always, always, always. He's way more important for damage output. Game looks quite over though. Yeah, pushing is definitely the right move here. Good BKB jump. And everything's pretty straightforward. Can't even tell the health of anything. So yeah, to summarize how you play, I would say laney wise, your last sitting really solid. Your itemization, your first two itemization is not great. And you need to right click way more, right click your opponent way more when you play melee cores like this, either Void or Legion, because you have to remember that trading is effective if it's the right trade. And Void can trade well, and Legion can trade well in the right circumstances. Like if it's a Pudge Wraith King lane, they can't stun you for more than 2 seconds, so you can always heal at least some of the damage. So if there are good opportunities where it's like just you and the Pudge hitting each other, or the creep wave attacking Pudge and Pudge trying to attack you, fight him. Lose some of his health. I think that's okay to do. Mask of Madness obviously a little bit wrong. Yeah, and stop pushing wand so fast. Try to get like a magic stick and 2 wraith bands is way better than a wand. Obviously it's more expensive, but you don't need to finish your magic wand swirl. I get you have the Ironwood branches, so you kind of want to, but I much prefer that you finish the wraith bands first, since wraith bands give you quite a lot of attack speed. Unvoid attack speed is really, really important, just because that's more chances to attack and more chances to bash. And a little bit more damage. So Wraith Band's very, very good on Faceless Void. So I think that should just about cover it though. Thanks for signing up for replay coaching. I hope this is helpful to you or any other carries that need to learn how to lane a little bit better, or need to know where they should be farming on the map, to pressure the map, to guarantee gold and help get kills. Okay, thanks for watching. Goodbye.